Hello guys, welcome to our channel Mo and Ash Vibes. We are back with another video. As you all know that we have made videos in past on how to apply for your study permit, how to write an effective SOP, and what documents you should be carrying as an international student while you're traveling to Canada. But in today's video, we are covering a really important topic in which we are talking about what questions you can be asked at the airport and how you should be prepared as an international student while coming to Canada for the very first time. Stay tuned till the end of this video as it's going to be really important and informative for you. So let's get started.
Now when you reach Canada at the port of entry, you are going to meet Canada Border Services officer. So these officers are going to check your documents, they are going to ask you some questions, and after they are satisfied with your answers and after they make sure that you have all the required documents, they allow you to enter Canada. Which means that if your study permit application is approved, that doesn't guarantee you that you will be allowed in Canada. In order to be allowed in Canada, you have to first go through the officer and answer the questions that has been asked of you and show them your documents. We have also made a video on what documents you need to carry with you to Canada. We are going to provide you a link in the description box for that. So after checking all that stuff, the officer is going to allow you entry in Canada. So which is why we have made this video, so that you know that what kind of questions can be asked from you at the airport, so that you can prepare yourself for your arrival in Canada. So now let's get straight to the questions. So the first thing that the officer is going to ask you of is your passport. So he's going to take your passport, check your passport. So they can ask you questions related to your passport as well. For example, they can ask you your full name as it is mentioned in the passport. They can ask you your date of birth, or they can ask you questions like, have you traveled to Canada before, or have you traveled in any other country before? So all the questions related to your passport can be asked as well. So you have to make sure that you know how your name is written in the passport, and if you have traveled before, then you have to make sure that you know wherever you have traveled before. So like keep those things in mind, because the relevant questions related to your passport can be asked of you.
And then comes the very obvious and the very common question, the purpose of your visit to Canada. Obviously, you're going to say that you're here to study on a study permit. And then based on that, they will ask you the questions like, what's the name of your college? What is the name of your course? The length of your course? Why did you choose Canada? There are many countries in the world, but why Canada? They'll poke you for those kind of questions.
Just a small tip, guys. So when the officer is going to ask you that which college are you going to go to or which university are you going to, make sure that you know the correct pronunciation of your college or university. And similarly, if the officer asks you the name of your course, just take the full name of your course. For example, let's say if you are doing a diploma course in business, then do not just say diploma in business. Take the full name of the course, like post-degree diploma in global business management. This leaves a good impression on the officer, as well as this looks more professional. Then they can also ask you things like that, have you already paid for your tuition fee? In that case, you can show them the receipt of payment. That is your proof of funds. Similarly, if they ask you questions like that, how are you going to manage your expenses in Canada and how are you going to pay for the rest of the semesters, then you can show them the other proof of funds that you must have attached in your file, like your GIC certificate or any loan document that you must have attached in your file, like a student loan. So basically you are telling them that you know that there are going to be expenses in Canada, and you know this is your fees, and you have already arranged some sort of funds for that.
Just a tip here, guys, when they are asking you this question regarding the money, how you're going to manage the expenses, don't just say that you are just going to work and save a lot of money to compensate that, because it doesn't look professional. Also, they will think that you're here to earn just money and not to study. So that defeats the purpose, and the officer might ask you some more tricky questions. So avoid that completely.
Another question that can be asked from you is that, till what time are you planning to stay in Canada? Or another variation of this question is that, what are your plans after you complete your studies in Canada? So in that case, you should tell them that after completing your studies, you are going to go back to your home country, look for a job, or you're going to go back to your home country and then start working on
business,
something, or do some business. So basically you are just telling them that you are going to go back to your home country, because they are just trying to know that after completing your studies, are you going to stay here in Canada or are you going to go back? So you just have to make sure that you are convincing them that your main purpose to come to Canada is to study, and after completing your studies, you are definitely going back to your home country.
Make sure that your answers are consistent with your SOP. Guys, the next question that can be asked of you is, do you have any relatives in Canada? If you don't, then the answer is pretty simple and straightforward, no. But if you have relatives in Canada, then please make sure that you know where they live, what is their full address, which province or city they live in, what do they do, what are their occupations, you know, all these questions can be asked
Their
as well.
details, basically,
Exactly.
so that if they ask you about them, then you have an answer for that. Similarly, they can also ask you that where are you going to live in Canada, so make sure you have the full address of that place with you. These are some common questions that can be asked from you at the airport. Similarly, you should also take care of few more things. For example, when you are at the airport and when the officer is going to ask you all those questions, just be confident and presentable. I understand that as a new student in a new country, you are going to be a little bit scared and a little bit nervous, which is normal. But if you have all the right paperwork and if you have mentioned everything in your file correctly, and you've not lied in your application, so there is really nothing to be worried about. So just present yourself confidently.
Guys, another tip here, when the officer is asking you the questions, listen to those questions carefully, take your time and then give a correct answer.
Another thing you have to be very careful about is that when you are answering the questions, make sure that your answers are in consistence with what you have mentioned in your application and whatever you have mentioned in your SOP. Sometimes what happens is that you write one thing in your SOP, but then when you're answering those questions, your answers are completely different. So again, that is not a very good impression that you're going to leave on the officer, and maybe he's going to ask you more questions in detail,
Which you want to avoid.
Exactly. So make sure that whatever you have mentioned in your application, you are giving the same exact answers at the airport as well. So these were some additional tips that will help you to prepare yourself for your arrival in Canada. So the questions that we have covered in this video, these are just normal questions, general questions that can be asked from you at the airport, but there is a possibility that they ask you some more detailed questions related to your specific case, related to your application. So be prepared for all those kinds of questions. And there is also a possibility that you come across some officer who doesn't even ask you so many questions. So it's really a matter of luck. You just need to be prepared and you just need to look confident and presentable, and trust me, it's not that difficult if you do all these things correctly, which means present yourself nicely, carry all the required documents, you are confident and you're keeping your answers clear and crisp, and then everything is going to be really easy for you. If you still have any more questions related to this video or related to this topic, feel free to comment in the section below. Also, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please hit the subscribe button for more informative videos like this, and also like the video and share the content. Now we will see you in our next video. Until next time, ta-da!